Good evening, Lightning. There we are. It's Susan Lee Mintz coming to you from her dining room in Century Village, 5:30 almost. I also want to say I hope you're having a blessed holiday weekend. This is a sacred holiday time for the Judeo-Christian brothers and sisters out there. And I go to your profiles. I do view your profiles because it's not like I have thousands of people that I'm watching at, but in general, I know who's been with me through the years with just pictures or small posts or other videos, and then I know those who are new. I'm very good at names and remembering a lot about where you come from, who you are, and what you do. So a lot of you are sharing because I've gotten a lot, to me, a lot of new listeners. I don't know if they're only listening or viewing for 5 minutes or half an hour, but you're getting something out of it, and I know you are, or you wouldn't even be giving up your valuable time to spend time listening. And you're from amazing walks of life. A nurse at Boca Raton Regional Hospital here, one at West Boca Med, nursing assistants, a lot of people in the clergy, pastors, women of great faith, assistants, management people, tech people, every persuasion, nationality, countries. And it is because of you that I am really able and continue to want to do this more and more. Because yesterday was the tough one. I never lost it reading any of it till yesterday when I had to think about his parents. That touched me so. So today, what I'm going to do is say, ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, I'm going to give you just a tad overview and then read a little bit from yesterday, and then I'll take you on to finish chapter 4 and go into, that was 5. I'm going to give you a little bit from chapter 5. I think that was No More Lies. No More Lies is chapter 5. And then we'll go into the Why Me. But I'll also back up and give you a little bit of yesterday. The scenario is on June 19th, 1992, Jeff is taken extremely ill. Hi, David. Jeffrey is taken very ill, violently ill, and the doctor says he has full-blown AIDS-related pneumonia. And June 20th, 1992, he's put in the hospital, extremely ill. As difficult as it was for us to face the diagnosis, and I was very prepared in a lot of ways. I really was. I had already built in kind of a support system with organizations and other people involved, a couple of infectious disease doctors. I just probed and asked questions about, kind of like Googled everything, but didn't have Google. And then once he was so ill, there was one last thing I really had to do, and that was tell his parents. And I said that Jeffrey was an adopted only child. He was adopted at 6 weeks of age from a Jewish agency in New York, and his parents were advancing in years. I mean, they weren't old, but they waited a long time to get this beautiful boy. And he was. I mean, he was great, and he was their son. They adored him, and I said the sun rose and set on him. And to tell, and I think his mother, in a little bit, suspected that there might have been an issue, obviously, with our marriage when she'd see us upset when we'd be out having dinners. And then one time in New Orleans when we met, I just stormed away from the table crying hysterically. And I think women are more acute to picking up on things. But the other thing is I wished I could have talked to her about this, just to have shared with a woman who loved him as much as I did. She would have understood, and his father would have understood. I didn't talk to my parents. I had to do, Jeffrey came first, his parents. It was hard enough for me to deal with everything, never mind tell his parents. But they adored him, and I really think she kind of suspected there was something I know they knew there was definitely something with our marriage because, all the times we were together, they knew that there was something that wasn't right. So I called them, and all I said was that your son was very ill, and to please come to the hospital and come here as quickly as you can. And that was pretty much it. Of course, I gave them directions, and I'm sure they were besides themselves wondering what happened, but I couldn't go into it. I was barely keeping it together for myself. I was such a wreck. I mean, just crying and losing everything and trying to keep it together to talk to them. And so I called, and I just said that Jeff come to the hospital, that Jeff is ill. So when they finally got there, this is where I'm going to back up just a little bit and finish up on 5 and go into 6. But that was the background, is that I thought we were prepared. We were not prepared. You're never prepared for something like this, a diagnosis that could be long-term or maybe fatal, a catastrophic illness. And how would I tell their parents that their chosen child, their chosen baby, was ill with a disease? I don't even know if they knew about it. It was 10 years after it had been announced on the news. But why would it be in their world other than hearing it on the news? And they wouldn't have registered at that. So what I said was that this part of it, I wanted to go back to, it was your parents' time to say I love you to their son. And I was thankful that I didn't wait any longer, because had they come to the hospital and he had passed, I don't know how we would have all handled that. And so, though our marriage and our life was centered around homosexuality, and I was knowledgeable about AIDS, and so were you to a point, but so many people had passed. We knew you were at risk and might become positive. Okay, you'll all have to go back through about 12 readings to really understand, or go to SusanMintz.com and go to the short story version, or just read the interviews. However, until we heard the actual diagnosis, we were naive to think we were prepared for this. We'd never be ready to hear those terrifying words. Only one thing was certain at this time: the 4 of us, his parents and I, would face this crisis together, and we would somehow manage to deal with it. We would support, comfort, and reassure each other. They were wonderful parents. I adored my mom. We got along so well. My dad and I had conflicts. It was like two generals butting heads. And he adored me and worshipped me when I was not there, but he couldn't say anything good to me when I was around. But I couldn't deal with them. Jeffrey came first. And all the Mintzes wanted was to see their son. They wanted to touch him, to comfort him, and to love him. And Jeff's mom also, I didn't say anything, but she was beginning to get dementia. She was beginning already to show the signs. I knew them, the forgetfulness, the repetition. It was getting challenging, but he was in no position to handle it or deal with it. I mean, Jeff was already beginning to have his own issues like we were. He couldn't handle his mom in a lot of ways, but that's for definitely another time. They wanted to touch you, to comfort you, and to love you. And that's what good parents do. They wouldn't have judged. They didn't care. Your mom spoke first. She said, quote, "Jeff, your parents are here. We love you, honey," end quotes. And Dad said in his wonderful voice, he's so sweet, quote, "You're the best son in the world. You've done everything right. Just get better and live. Please, Jeff, you must fight to live," end quote. They wanted you to know you weren't alone. Your family was here. You had our love, respect, and acceptance. I was so thankful they never asked me any questions. Why were you ill? How did you get sick? Or anything else that didn't matter now. On that Father's Day in June 22nd, all your parents wanted was to look at their son and be there for you. That's where I stopped on Friday. I'm going to start now. I'm going to finish up 5 and go into 6. It took several hours, but finally your fever came down. You looked at them and smiled. They desperately needed to see that beautiful smile, reassuring them of their presence. What a bond they had. It was an amazing relationship. I envied him for that. I left the room because they needed their private time with you. I had other matters to attend to. Now I had to tell my family and a few close friends. As I said before, there were no more lies. The truth will always surface. Your lies will find you, and eventually you will tell so many, you'll forget who you told what to whom. No more lies. Everybody right now, no more lies. Now I had to tell my family and a few close friends. I didn't have the energy to call my parents. I'd ask my sister in Boston if she could handle it. When I called her, she broke down. Surprisingly enough, I was calm. She said she'd do anything she could, and if I needed her, she would fly in. I told her quite honestly, I didn't know who or what I needed. I decided to tell our friends, the closest ones obviously, that you were in the hospital though with pneumonia. Pneumonia worked for a while. I said your condition was serious, but you were stable. This information sufficed for now. After several calls, I felt relieved. A weight had finally been lifted from me. For the first time in 23 years, we would have to be honest about our marriage and our life. I felt so much support from our family and friends and was hopeful because I wouldn't have to be alone with my secrets anymore. I kept this secret. I was really good at keeping secrets. To this day, if you tell me anything and you tell me it's a secret, as much as I talk, you won't get it out of me. Not a chance. Chapter 6, why me? Have any of you asked yourself out there any of those questions? Like, why me? Wednesday, June 24th, 1992. Dear Jeff, as my diary continues in my journals, writing so I couldn't even read it and tears streaming down on the pages, but write, folks. Write your story. Write everything out. Get it out of your head. Get it out. Just get it out. Oh, Andrea, thank you. Dear Jeff, you've been in the hospital for 5 days. Your condition was stabilized, and the doctor says you're doing well. For now, he thinks the crisis is over. It will take you a long time, though, to regain your strength, but you're going to pull through. My writing has helped clear the cobwebs from my mind, and it's given me something to focus on. Somebody once told me that writing was therapeutic. Yeah, and I had to pay a lot of money for that information. But I didn't understand how powerful that statement was until now. By being able to express my feelings on paper, I've come to terms with a very difficult issue. It's one that has caused me years of pain and unhappiness. Through my writing, I've discovered something about myself that I had never been willing to face before. I realize that I've spent much of my life being a why me person. I realize that I've spent much of my life being a why me person. Have any of you said why me during something that was difficult or challenging, or why me? Let's not call it a pity party yet. I've allowed the why me questions and the why me person to control me. For 23 years, 3 questions have frustrated and discouraged me. They've left me feeling helpless and hopeless, and they have caused me such anguish, because asking myself why me questions didn't have the answers to my problems. I had to change the way I looked at myself and why I was the way I was. That's when I became my own best friend and dealt with my life effectively. Once I understood that I was the problem, I was able to deal with it. Now, as much as I'd like to say that this is going to continue, that I'm okay, sometimes I'm not okay, that I'm dealing effectively with my life, that I'm not, I am back and forth, folks. Every time something happened, I'm back and forth. But the chapters in this book are issues that are meant to inform you about what you might go through in life. And it is perfectly normal to feel and question and react to everything that I've reacted to. That is the way it is. You were given emotions and you were given feelings, and you are to use them. And if you don't use them, you will stifle them and you will one day explode. And it is not healthy. So let me just read this. I had to change the way I looked at myself and why I was the way I was. That's what the writing did for me. It helped me to deal with me as well as clear all this stuff out of my head. That's when I became my own best friend and dealt with my life effectively. I should say more effectively, because I didn't deal with my life effectively on and off. But for now, this is what I'm writing. Once I understood that I was my problem, I was able to deal with it. You, better than anyone, knew how much my life has always needed to make sense. Remember, I'm talking to Jeff. You, better than anyone, knew how much my life has always needed to make sense. Everything had to be in order, things to fit properly, and nothing could ever be left to chance. I was a control person, focused, disciplined, and I still am. That part of me won't change. When I'm disciplined, I am focused, and when I go for something and want it, I just say, God, give me the strength, and I will get it. We're going to get that series, folks, I promise you. Everything had to be in order, things had to fit properly, and nothing could ever be left to chance. What happened because of my writing is I discovered my life needed to have a reason, but it didn't always have to make any sense. Let me repeat that. What's happened because of my writing, and that writing became my career. What's happened because of my writing is I've discovered my life needed to have a reason, but it didn't always have to make any sense. Whoa, that's a profound something that should go viral right there. Everything may not always be right, and some questions will not have any answers. Sometimes things are just the way they are, and that's the way it's supposed to be. For me to understand this was quite a revelation, and recognizing it brought me comfort and peace for the first time in my life. That was then. I couldn't do the pity party or the why me any longer. If I didn't stop asking those unanswerable questions, I wouldn't be able to be here with you now. On June 24th, 1992, quote, the Y letter will be a letter in the alphabet and not a word used in my life. From now on, I'll ask only, why not me? Why not me? What, was I born with my birth certificate that said, you're going to go through life perfectly, nothing's ever going to happen, you're just fine, it's going to be great? No. I realized at 76 am I 75? I'm going to be 76 May 4th. You all can remember that. That I realized that I'm thinking there's everything that in my life isn't why not me? Why not me? Has to happen to somebody. Why not me? So anyway, I make myself laugh. You know, I watch my videos about 2 hours later because I'm exhausted afterwards. But I watch them about 2 hours later and I laugh. And I think I am giving myself therapy because I make myself laugh. Some of you think this is heavy. Yeah, maybe at times. It's going to get better. It's going to get worse. It's going to get better. It's going to go back and forth, believe me. But I make myself laugh because having a sense of humor in life is the one sense they don't talk about. You got 5? No, sweetheart. You got a sense of humor and you better start using it because once in a while, it's the only thing going to save you. I'll only ask why not me questions. They won't demand answers from me. I cannot find nor cause the sadness I brought on myself. As I sit here writing at your bedside, I'll share with you some of my why me questions. It's finally time to say goodbye to the quote, the why me factors in my life. Oh, this is so good and I'm so chilled. God is talking to me right now. Whew. The first why me question, and if you ever had my book for the 5 people that bought it and for the couple hundred I gave away, a lot of the stuff's in italics. And italics means it's a little emphasis. If it's not in quotes, it's italics. So, we're in chapter 6 now, okay? The first why me question I asked myself was, why did I get pregnant? If this hadn't occurred, we wouldn't have gotten married. We weren't lovers in love. We were best friends who made love one night. And I don't even think it was making love. We both got so drunk, we just passed out. And the next morning, we were naked on the floor in my parents' bedroom because they'd gone to Boston. So it wasn't like we were lovers. We got drunk, had sex, and passed out on the floor. We were best friends who made love one night. During that brief encounter, our lives, though, were changed forever. In 1969, we were 2 Jewish kids from a small conservative city. Abortion wasn't legalized, and our families knew each other. Marriage was the only thing we could do. For the past 23 years, I've tried to understand the issue of why did this happen to me? But every time I asked myself why me, I became angry and resentful. I hated myself, but I hated you more. Most of my hostility towards you during those first few years was because I couldn't find any answers to the why did I get pregnant question. Now I say, why not me? And I feel peaceful and calm. It helps, honestly it does, to say why not me. Really, I wasn't chosen to go through life with no scars and no, and you know what I'm saying, no. Now I say why not me and I feel peaceful and calm. Why shouldn't this have happened? We knew it was a possibility. We had intercourse. I got pregnant. And that outcome brought us together. We were supposed to get married, and we did. Do you know how good it feels to finally accept this? Do you know how easy it is for me to deal with what happened because it was supposed to be? I'm glad I got pregnant, and I'm glad we got married. Quote, why not, Jeff? Question mark, quote. The second why me question that has tormented me for years was, why did you stay married to me? Can you imagine how painful this why me issue was? Some of you are going to have to go back and go through the videos, especially the one with his parents and the lies. And I know you're going back, some of you, because I checked the views and they are going up. Maybe not on the real old ones, but they're going up and people looking. So I know you're sharing, I know you're going back. But, where was I here? Oh, why did you stay married to me? Can you imagine how painful this why me issue was? You were a bisexual man who wanted a gay lifestyle. Why did you remain with me all these years? When you were sexually attracted to men, I was the only woman. I know we had a lot of things in common, and we were best friends. We cared deeply about each other, and we were a great team. We had fun, shared ideas, goals, and interests. We complemented each other. Oh, did we look like the perfect couple? No one would have suspected anything. Hi, Lucy. I got the hair down today, but I'm not playing with it. It's sprayed real tight. We complemented each other, but you were having sexual relations with other men. Why did you want me? What disturbed me even more was, why did I stay with you? Why couldn't we walk away from each other and the marriage? Why, Jeff? I asked myself these questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It consumed me. How many arguments did we have about this? How many times did I scream at you, quote, why do you stay with me? And why can't you leave? The more I asked you those questions, the more my anger towards you grew. Saying why me hurt so badly, I wanted to hurt you back. I'm going to stop at the next paragraph. I'm going to leave you with the third why me question, but I've got one more paragraph. Again, how I looked at this issue made all the difference. When I changed the why me to the why not me, the anger and resentment towards you left. When I said why not me, I felt good about us and was glad we fought to keep our marriage together. Saying why not me made everything easier and more natural. Adding the word not gave me something I'd never known before, peace of mind. So now I say, why shouldn't we have stayed together and tried to make our marriage work? All married couples have their problems, and you do, and you do, and you do. We continued to work on our relationship and focus on the wonderful things we shared. We had fun. Oh, did we have fun? Laughed and talked about everything. We wanted each other to succeed, and were never threatened by each other's accomplishments. Listen to that. We wanted each other to succeed, and we were never threatened by the other one's accomplishments. We cared and respected each other as friends should. We stayed together because this was the kind of relationship we were supposed to have. Accepting that enabled me to find my inner self and let go once and for all of the pain. All right, one more. What can I tell you? I'm hooked on my book. I'm hooked on my book. You may have to stop, pause, go eat, go to the bathroom, and turn me off for another few days. I have to give you the third one. The third why me question was the most disturbing one of all. It caused me to hate my own existence and almost cost me my life. The question was, why did AIDS happen? God, can you relate this to everything? Can you really relate this to everything that's going on sometimes in your life? My issue was AIDS, but COVID and cancer and Alzheimer's. Why did this horrible illness come along? Why did you have to get this disease? Why did you do this to yourself? And why did you do this to me? You took your beautiful body, a wonderful life, and destroyed it because of sex. I hated you for getting ill and ruining our lives. and I'm going to hate you for dying and leaving me alone. All I wanted was for you to be here with me, sharing our life and future together. Facing these why questions caused me the most pain and anguish I'd ever known. They made me want to die because I knew I'd still be alive after you were gone. So that's where we're going to leave it. And it's okay if you see me tear up. Some of you aren't even going to stay tuned. It's tough stuff. But when you go through life's adversities, look in the mirror and say, why not me? Am I that special? Am I supposed to not get anything, have anything, deal with anything? Don't all relationships have issues? You bet they do. You bet they do. If anything, I know about one of the chapters will be, is there a God? And I definitely know that I've never doubted faith. I think faith and hope, if you don't have it, you better get some or you're already dead. Yeah, I'm not saying you have to believe, but I'm saying at some time in your life, you've had faith. Faith for that job, faith for the husband, faith for the child you wanted, faith for the promotion, faith for the car. You have had to have faith in your life and hope that it happens. It's not luck or chance. That's a lottery ticket. When people say, good luck. Yeah, right. I hope I pick all 6 numbers and I'm a billionaire overnight. No. Faith and hope are what keeps you going. And this white hair is a testament to faith and hope. I loved him. I still do. Almost 30 years after his diagnosis, coming in June 2022, 30 years later, I'm still a widow. I am still missing him. I still don't like June or August when he passed, and those were our favorite times, summer. But so if you've lost someone you love, just remember the loss never goes away. People say, oh, what's that? Oh, the void, it fills your void. Loss, you don't have to, loss is loss. Grief is grief. It's just different the longer it goes on. That's all. Things just get different, and there's no book to tell you how to deal with it. Not my book, not any book on any bookshelf will tell you how to deal with your grief and your loss. I miss him, but I know he's proud of me for doing right now what I'm doing. On a Saturday night, I'm sitting in my kitchen, almost 6 o'clock. Well, no, I'm not in the kitchen. That's next door, right next to me. I'm sitting in my little dining room, talking into my phone and saying, thank you. Thank you for your support, your encouragement, for sharing. If everyone tells one, well, tell more than one. Tell people, I always say, tell people you don't like. Go to my website, SusanMintz.com, and you'll read about a little lady who, okay, right now. And you know what I'm going to say on this sacred, blessed night, and not just because it's the Passover and Easter weekend, but it's my thing that I think I'll sign off with when I get my talk show. And I will have that too. But I think it's what I sign off with because I seriously mean it. To all of you, shalom. I like it. Shalom, hello. Shalom, goodbye. And shalom, peace. Shalom, peace. Could we not use some peace in this world, in our country, on the news, or in our own lives? Isn't peace the blessing? May you have a shalom peace tonight, and I will be back on tomorrow. I'm getting used to the 5:30. It's this, I look so forward to it. And sometimes all week, it's the only time I put on lipstick. Because I'm still wearing my mask most of the time. But thank you all. God bless you and shalom. And you know I have to finish, and I'm always excited when I hit the right button without my glasses on. Finish. Bye.